Good morning. Welcome to Recovering Addict. I'm LT. I'm an alcoholic addict. Well, I used to be anyway. Today we're going to talk about stress, unhealthy stress, often referred to as chronic stress. Chronic stress can lead to a variety of health issues, including heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, and weakened immune system. It can also cause chronic pain, gastrointestinal problems in the belly, and exasperated existing health conditions, okay? It can significantly affect your mental health, leading to conditions like anxiety, depression, and insomnia. It can also impair cognitive functions like memory, concentration, and decision making. People under chronic stress may experience change in behavior, such as an increased irritability, aggression, or even social withdrawal. There can also be an increased reliance on unhealthy coping mechanisms like smoking and excessive drinking, overeating, and drug use. And your overall well-being, if you are under chronic stress, can reduce your overall life satisfaction, affecting relationships, work performance, and personal goals. So in summary, unhealthy stress is determined to both the mind and body, impacting various aspects of life's well-being. And once you become clean and sober, you are trying to avoid unhealthy stress. But guess what? A lot of times we pull our head out of the bucket of addiction and look around and we got bridges on fire. Sometimes we have criminal charges. We're on paper and we got to battle the courts. Of course, you're going to feel stressed out. Of course, you're going to feel anxiety and shame and guilt and all that stuff. But guess what? Your behavior led to those situations and the consequences of your actions. You are feeling the repercussions of it. And guess what? You're going to have to dig your way out of it. So you're going to have to learn how to cope and manage this stress without going back to using. A lot of people go to jail and get put on medication because they tell the doctor inside the jail, I feel stressed out and anxiety. Well, yeah, no crap. You've been running from the cops and breaking the law. Of course you're going to feel like that. Now it is time to dig. Now it is time to grow up. It is time to deal with stress. It is time to deal and cope and manage properly. Recovery is not easy. Recovery is not easy, and you have to dig deep and you have to purposefully, with action, pursue the hard road, which gets easier over time because when you stop using drugs and alcohol, you're digging yourself out of a hole before you get back to normal. And then once you figure it out, once it clicks and recovery takes off for you and you're back to normal, you'll start seeing that the tools you use to dig out of this hole start becoming tools to launch you into a successful, happy, meaningful, purposeful life of satisfaction and joy and happiness and peace. And then it ripples to your family and your friends and your community, and to where all of a sudden, for the most part, of a month, let's just say 80% of that month is peaceful, happy, stress-free, loving, joyful, and all the rest. But we are humans. Life happens, life on life terms, all that kind of stuff. So you still have to have the tools. And we're going to talk about building a toolbox today on how to handle stress. Okay? But the first thing we're going to do is jump into our daily devotion. Freedom from addiction, because if you really want true freedom, there's only one way to have true freedom. As a person living free from past addictions, this guy says, I can say firsthand that I know what hell on earth is like. I can say that. I know what hell on earth is like. I've been to jail for second-degree felony because of meth. I've drank myself to almost losing my complete family, and I've seen my sons get into an accident that was the most horrific thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and then binge drink for another 2 years after that. I understand a bit of what hell on earth is like. He says, I know the torment, the darkness, and the very real spiritual oppression that accompanies addiction. Consequently, when I read about the need to be reborn, it made some sense to me, although I didn't know exactly what being born again meant. You know, the thing about Christianity, and that's my higher power, so I'm going to talk about it. If you don't like it, sorry. But these, like Jesus and born again, all these words have been muddied and just thrown around and just like ruined in a sense because of media and other people that just do it wrong, right? But to be born again, what does that mean? Like spiritually born again? Because when you get into recovery, there is a new birth that needs to be taking place from your old lifestyle, regardless. You have to become a completely new person. And in this context here, to be born again can also be translated to be born from above. And he's like, oh, what? Born from above? That makes sense. He says that began to give me some clarity about this new life with Jesus. He says, being born from above or into the Spirit of God gave us a clean slate. He gives us a clean slate and gives us a new heart. God promises to get rid of this heart of stone and to give us a heart of flesh. Being born from above is when you go from being a spiritual orphan to being adopted into the family of God through what? Why did Jesus come to this world? Why do they always talk about it? Why do people wear crosses? Why do the Catholics have that? Why is everything focused on the cross? Why is 2023, and you go back in time and time seemed to have stopped and restarted again? Because there was a moment in time where God, the man, God, came down and sacrificed himself for you. And if you accept that, you will have a new birth. You will have a new path of life. I'm telling you, it's something you need to look into. If you are on a spiritual journey, you are in AA, and you are looking at the God of your own understanding, and you haven't looked into this one yet because there's some weird fear about it, give it a shot. Check it out. Read the Bible and check it out. He says, as we are reborn, our loving Father in heaven takes up residence inside us, affects our sinful nature, and he takes us by the hand to show us to live in a new life with him. As he takes up residence in our hearts, we began to learn a new culture and a new way of life. Here's a prayer tip. Pray to God to show you how to live one day at a time with him. Practice being kind to yourself. Practice being kind to yourself and ask for patience as you engage in this journey and process with God. Ask God to take you into a season where he shows you exactly what it means to live this new life with him. Ask him to teach you how to truly be a follower of Christ. Ask him to show you how to live as fully accepted member of the family of God who knows his voice and presence. Here's your action step. If you don't have a church, if you don't have a spiritual community to get with, look for one. It will benefit you greatly. And if you don't know where to start, just start praying for one to show up. Ask God to guide you to the right church. If you do not have a church family, call someone you know from your church and ask them to help you. Once you find these people, you can call and you can start asking them to help you be accountable, right? This is another step into support, put you in the right path. Jesus replied, I tell you the truth, unless you are born again, you cannot see the kingdom of God. In Romans 10:9, it says, if you openly declare that Jesus is Lord and you believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For it is by believing in your heart that you are made right with God, and it is by openly declaring your faith that you are saved. Amen. Amen. What a great devotion today. So today, coping strategies. You ever feel stressed out, but you can't pinpoint why? Let's decode this mystery. So here are some common everyday life stressors. If you're wondering why you're stressed out and you're wondering what's going on in your heart and like, why do I feel this way? A lot of times we don't focus on what is actually stressing us out. And there are a bazillion things that stress us out. Let me know some of the stuff that you are aware of that definitely stress you out and you are completely aware of. But let's talk about some that you may not be aware of, because you got the workplace, right? You go to work, maybe you got deadlines. Maybe you got a workplace dynamic. There's just people that you just don't get along with. And there's a couple people that don't get along with each other, and it stresses you out seeing them because you kind of get stuck in the middle. You got workplace dynamics that can build stress. And if it's bad times in the economy, you got job insecurity. So maybe you're worried about losing your job and don't know what to do, and that can cause stress. Then you have financial concerns that go right along with your work, right? Okay, here's the money coming in every 2 weeks. I have this much debt. I got these many bills to pay. I got this many mouths to feed. That can get very stressful. And then what about the stability of the income that is coming in? That is another stress point in life. What about health concerns? What health concerns do you have about your life right now? I know that I'm getting older. I've been going to the doctor, and I've been looking at older people in life, and it's that middle life type thing. And when you start realizing that time flies, right? You're not this young punk kid anymore that just doesn't understand time because he hasn't experienced it yet. You kind of have a good chunk of experience with time and realize the end is soon, the end is near, and it is a vapor, and it's coming quick. And this body that I live in, our vehicle through our life, is prone to being unhealthy. Maybe I got a little heart disease. Maybe it's time for a colonoscopy. What if I go to the doctor and he tells me I got cancer? Nobody's exempt. It happens to people. And that can stress you out. What health concerns are you worried about? Right now, y'all know I have a shoulder injury, and that is annoying, and it stresses me out because I'm dealing with the doctors. I'm dealing with insurance. I'm dealing with what's it going to look like if I have surgery? And if I do have surgery, will I even wake up? A lot of stress, right? So we've talked about workplace stress, financial concerns, and health concerns. What about social pressure? How do you navigate situations involving alcohol and substances? You have social pressure around you. Who are you hanging out with? What is your family like? You have moms and dads, aunts and uncles that you just cannot go hang out with on the holidays because all they do is turn it into a party. That is social pressure. And that can cause stress, especially if you're trying to stay clean and sober and you are in recovery. What about lifestyle changes? Adjusting to a sober lifestyle can be stressful because you have to change everything. If you want to change, you have to change. You can't want to change and continue to do the same thing that you've always done. I want to lose weight, but I'm not willing to get out of bed and get on a treadmill or go around the block for 20, 30 minutes every single morning to do that. Then you're not going to change. And so that lifestyle change within itself is going to produce stress. And now what about balancing daily life with recovery? So you got to wake up, you got to go to work, you got to come home, you got a program that you need to work, you need to keep your mind focused on recovery because you got this addiction that you just went through. Maybe you're digging yourself out of a hole, you still got cravings, maybe you're going through withdrawal, you're still that early in on into recovery. You still got to manage commitments to your recovery program and you got to hit some meetings. All this life balance can cause a lot of stress. What else can cause stress? You got past traumas, you got fear of relapse. That's a lot of stress that can come up. What about stigma and misunderstanding? Stigma and misunderstanding. Hang on, let me double check my notes here. Because I wanted to hit this, but I didn't know if I wanted to talk about it right now. But I do want to talk about it right now because stigma, and I'm going to give you an understanding of how to deal with this real quick. Stigma is, I wear this shirt everywhere now. See this? Recovering addict. And it gets attention. People look at it. Some people go, oh, that's awesome. You're in recovery. High five. Other people come up and go, wow, what'd you do? I need help. And then you got those other people that look at it and they won't even talk to you. They won't even make eye contact with you. They kind of walk a little further around you than they would normally would. And they just don't understand, right? The stigma around addiction. Because what comes with addiction? Look around. It comes with chaos. It comes with criminal activity. It comes with lying, untrustworthy behavior. We have every right to be stigmatized because of the behaviors we've had in addiction. But once you get into recovery and you own it, I'm a drug addict, I'm an alcoholic, or I used to be, I'm going to own that. And you have to not care what other people think. I heard this comedian, and it was pretty funny. He's like, I don't care what people think about me anymore. He goes, you want to know why? He goes, once I got clean and sober and I finally had to spend some time alone, I had to spend time alone with the guy who tried to kill me. Because that's what we do in recovery or in addiction, right? We try to kill ourselves. And a lot of times, and a lot of, God rest their souls, but I have a picture of somebody up right here on my wall who OD'd and died. Sometimes we do kill ourselves, right? So what would LT worry about what you think about me? What can you do to me? Switch off the screen? Report me that I said stuff that's scary to you? Maybe you got offended. You think I care? Because LT, guess what I did? I tried to kill LT. There's nothing you can do that I haven't already done to myself, that I've done worse to myself. So I ain't got to worry about. So screw what people think. Who cares what they think? You tried to kill yourself with drugs and alcohol. There's nothing nobody else around you is going to do that you haven't done worse to yourself. It's just a little, take it with a grain of salt. So how are you identifying these stressors? Okay, we just went through a whole list of the possible stress you can experience throughout one day. And we want to combat that. We want to build a toolbox through this next 20, 30 minutes of this live stream. A thing you can do is write it down. Record moments when you feel stressed. Note the time. Okay, I felt stressed today at 8 o'clock. Note the context. What is context? What was happening around you? I'm at work. People were talking like this. I had to hurry up and get this done. And you can kind of start to note what kind of stress you're dealing with, right? And then once you write down the time, kind of what made you stressed and what the context was behind it, you can write down what were your thoughts? What were my thoughts during this stressful moment? Were they just prone to be negative, 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 negative? How were you thinking during this stressful moment? And then how did you respond? Write it down. So write down the moment, the time, write down the context of it, write down how you were thinking through it, and write down how you responded externally. And start making notes of this. You can't fix anything if you don't measure it. And the thing about being in recovery, one thing that I wish I would have learned early on, besides patience, and things take a lot of time, is you are on a journey of self-awareness. You have to become completely self-aware so that you can understand why it is you're feeling the way you are, why it is the way you think, and why it is after you feel and think this way that you respond 9 times out of 10 in a negative way. Know what I mean? Let's have some balloons. Let's have some balloons. If you're listening and you have time, if you're not driving, if you're not working, comment some of the stuff that you stress about and what are you doing? Do you have a toolbox? Do you focus on self-awareness in recovery? And drop them sobriety dates, of course. Just let me see where are we at? Where are you at? What are you doing today? How are you feeling today? Rock star. I want to show you a stress thermometer before we move on into this identification thing, because there are good stresses. There are bad stresses. Give this a look. And if you have a second, grab your phone, whatever you're watching on, take a screenshot of it and come back to it in a minute. Come back to it when you can, because I want you to start to identify your stress through this thermometer. If you think about where you're at this exact moment, look at on that one side where you see a thermometer and read from the bottom from 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 20, the different types of stress. 1 through 3, pretty relaxed, nearly asleep, that kind of stress. And you work your way up, relaxed, not focused. You're relaxed, but you're focused. And then 4, 5, and 6 is functional stress. You're focused and you're active. You're free flowing, no effort at all, right? And then you're putting forth a little bit more effort. There's stress involved. Like right now, I'm under stress. I would probably be at a 6. I'm a free flow stress right now because I know what needs to be done. I got my script laid out in front of me. I have my bullet points I need to hit, and I want to talk about this thermometer. I had to go live. I had to get all my lights on. I had to wake up. I had to do the things that I do on day 4 of my 75-day challenge. And so I would be at a 6 because stress is good for you. Stress can motivate you. Stress can keep you going in the right direction. It's when we get up into 7 through 20 that it can get unhealthy. You start losing focus and spacing out because you cannot focus on anything else but what is stressing you out. You're driven and defensive if somebody comes and talks to you once you get up to number 8. And then all of a sudden you start getting to this boiling point around 9 and you overreact to things, right? And then you lose control. And then there's disassociation, and then there's psychosis and collapse. Like at the boiling point, the oven popped, everything's bad. And in the red zone, your reactions are self-survival. You got the fight or flight. You're angry. You're violent, right? You could flee. You could run away and hide and shut off phones and totally isolate. You just freeze and you become complacent. And all you want to do is be left alone. So watch your stress level. Think about it on a level of thermometer. And we do this exercise in our class on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays here locally in Ogden. We'll take somebody through this book we have called Relapse Prevention, and we'll have them manage their stress. And right now you could do it too. If you close your eyes and you think about something in your past, your trauma, you think about some bills that are due, start focusing on that thing real quick. Start thinking about, maybe you don't have custody of your kids and you only got to see them every other weekend. Maybe you didn't get everything you wanted for everybody this Christmas. Start thinking about some things that stress you out and watch your stress on this thermometer. It starts to rise. Maybe you're coming up into out of focused good stress, and then you're getting into that red boiling point. So how can you, now that you are aware that you can actually increase your own stress, can you do the opposite? Can you bring it back down? What are some techniques and some things that when you feel your stress getting up into this thermometer, up into the red zone, that you can use tools to manage this stress and bring it back down into free flow, 6, 5, 4. And then when it's time to chill, you get into 3, 2, 1, and then go to bed, not stressed out, because you can take control and manage this through breathing techniques and all kinds of other stuff. So how are you identifying stressors? Remember, recovery is about being self-aware. One thing you can do is body scan meditation. Scan your body for areas of tension, right? You're looking for, is my neck sore? Is my jaw clenched? Like what's going on in my body? Become self-aware of where your body is. And you can try to start loosening and relaxing those areas. Mindfulness practice helps recognize the physical manifestations of stress, such as tight shoulders, a clenched jaw, and then even upset stomachs. Stress can upset your stomach. So when you start feeling stressed out, think about what it's doing to your body. And remember, we're writing this stuff down so that you can become self-aware. Did you know breaking a sweat can also break the cycle of stress? Exercise releases endorphins and it improves mood and reduces stress. Seriously, like I talk about exercise all the time. I own a gym. Our whole program, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, is revolved around working out. We work out for an hour and then we sit in group. We work out for an hour and then we have our group. It erases a day. If somebody's coming in and they're having a bad day, all of us as a team work out together. We break a sweat. Our endorphins drop. All the good, feel-good endorphins drop into our body, the natural pain relievers. And then we have group. It is completely erases a bad day. It takes our stress levels all the way back down, and then we are ready and able in the green zone of stress to focus and talk and communicate to one another and solve problems. Recovery is about finding and seeing the problems, and today is the problems we're talking about is stress, is you find the problem and then you live in the solution. You don't find the problem and whine and cry and look at the problem and whine and cry and bellyache and whine and cry. No, you find the problem and then boom, you live in the solution. So we ask each other, how can I get through this? How can I manage this time of my life? And we give advice and we help. I've been through that. This is what I did. Oh yeah, from this one time, and then we take that advice and we start pushing each other to live in the solution. And then when we come back and bellyache about the same problem again, it's like, have you been living in the solution or are you just bellyaching? Because if you're just bellyaching, nothing's going to change. And like I've said at the beginning of the stream, nothing changes if nothing changes. And so to do that with exercise, y'all know, go take a run around the block, spin on a bike. We just got done doing our bike exercise this morning. We did an intense 30 minutes of uphill climb type bike ride, and I felt great. A deep breath can be your first line of defense against stress. So boom, you find yourself lit up with stress. What do you do in that moment? Can you just leave your job and go run an exercise? Maybe not. Can you grab your journal and start writing down? Maybe not. But one thing you can do there instantly is to breathe deep. Take a big, giant, deep breath. And what Aubrey likes to say, the program manager of Recovering Addict, she likes to yell at herself, back to now, back to now. Because you start imagining things that are beyond and your imagination runs wild. So she'll say, back to now, with a big, giant, deep breath, right? My son, Link, he likes to do square breathing. He goes, the one I like is the one I learned the other day is 3 sharp inhales and then tap your chest and say, I got this. Do that 4 or 5 times as soon as you're stressed out. Your first line of defense against stress really is a big, giant, awesome, deep breath. 7/9/2015 is a sober date. I stress when I experience new things. That can be a good thing. Team trucking. Team trucking. Welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. Experiencing new things can be very stressful. Yeah. It depends on the uncomfortableness of the new thing on where that stress goes, right? I imagine if we threw you up on a stage in front of 100 people to tell your story, that would be freaking stressful. You're welcome. Congratulations on 2015. That's a lot. You got more time than I got. Mine's 2019. And if you don't screw up, I'll never be able to catch up to you. Don't let it happen. I have total faith that you will. He said, I'd die. Put me on a stage in front of 100 people, I'm dead. That's stress to the max. You know, and stress is a good thing, and it's good to push yourself out of your comfort zone. You ain't got to go extreme and go get up on a stage in front of 100 people, but stress is good for you. It helps your mind think in new ways. It helps you experience new things. And I was always taught about your comfort zone. If you stay in your comfort zone, you just stay and you don't grow, right? Oh, look at that. But each time you go outside your comfort zone gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you'll come back and look at this where you used to be comfortable and used to be stressed if you got anything further than that and be like, man, that was not much. And life gets easier. You can handle situations better. I was watching this documentary on the 1939 Olympics, and I can't remember his name. Jesse Owens, I believe it was. He won 3 gold medals. Hitler's at these Olympics because it was in Germany, right? This was right before World War II kicked off. And Jesse Owens was this black guy and it was an awesome Olympics because the Aryan nation was supposed to be the elite of the world, right? And a lot of the black community, a lot of the Italians, and like all this stuff beat Germany out, and it was great. But anyway, one thing that stuck out to me about this documentary is they said that Jesse Owens never met a stranger. I was like, whoa, he never met a stranger. And that's because his comfort zone was huge. He could walk up to anybody, anywhere, anytime, and he was instantly friends with them because he knew how to communicate and talk and ask questions to that person and get engaged with that person in a very friendly way to where he likes them already and they end up liking him immediately, right? He never met a stranger. And that's one thing I want to do. And you have to be able to be like that. First, you have to be in a good mood. You can't be grumpy and running around everywhere. Don't talk to me. I'm in a hurry. You have to kind of be a patient person and say, I can give this time to anybody, anywhere. If I'm at the gas station getting gas, if I'm walking through the gas station to buy a drink, I run into somebody at the grocery store or wherever, right? Daily life, running around. You have to have the patience to pause for 5-10 minutes and have a conversation with somebody you don't know in a positive way, which means you got to be in a good mood. You got to be willing to do that. You got to be likable, approachable, and you have to be able to not fear approaching people. I want to be a kind of person that everywhere I go, I've never met a stranger. That's a characteristic I would love to be said about me. Everywhere he went, man, he never met a stranger. That would be so cool. So deep breathing techniques. Whew. That's what we were talking about. Bring it down. That's your first line of defense. And remember, you are not alone in this. Your support network is your anchor. If you do not have a support network, you need one. If you haven't been doing AA or NA, and if that's not your thing, find a different support network. There are mindfulness types of support. There's Zoom. If you go to meetup.com and you type in your city and you type in a topic or a hobby or anything, you will find a group of people that meet up and do that type of stuff. Card games, chess clubs, painting, all kinds of things. I found a group on there that liked to get together and learn how to speak Spanish, and they spoke Spanish to each other. And that's a group of support, and that's another hobby to get your mind off of other things, and that can help you deal with stress. You must have supportive friends and families and groups in your life. You have to shed the old way. Charlie Sheen, was he that crazy guy that was just all addicted to drugs? He's winning. That guy. He was talking on a show I was listening to about his addiction. And they said, oh man, you have to get a whole new friend. You got to do all this kind of crazy stuff. You know, isn't it lonely in recovery? Because you had to shed away all your new friends, all your old friends. And he said, lonely? It was a relief to get rid of that negative influence. And so to have supportive friends and groups, you have to shed the old lifestyle. Everything has to change. Everything has to change. You have to find a whole new group of people who are on the same page, who are on the same level mentally as you, and that level being, I want to be successful. I want to thrive in life. I want to be happy. I want to be able to manage my stress. I want to be self-aware. And for pretty personally, and I'm just preaching to you guys what I preach to myself daily, what keeps me on track and kept me sober for the last 4.5 years. Team Trucking, what has kept you sober since 2015? Like, where do you strive to be in life? What's your support group look like? If you have time, type it. If not, no worries. I'm just asking questions. And anybody else watching, let me know about what you think. I always do this thing. I do a plus sign. I write down your behaviors, your triggers. I write down concerns about recovery that you have for yourself and the way that you act during these stressful moments. And then on the bottom right-hand corner, I always have people list their support network from number 1 to, we'll get there. So the first person that you would call, who is that first person that you know in any time, anywhere, in a pinch, you trust without a doubt to shed anything off of your heart to this person and they'll listen? Who is that person? Because that person should be number 1 on your list. And then say that person's busy and that person can't answer your phone call or text. Who's the second person that you would put on that list? And this doesn't have anything to do with personal. You like this person better than anybody. We're just going to make a nice, huge list to give you no way out, no excuses to not reach out when you are tempted to go back and relapse, when you are tempted to look at pornography, when you are tempted to be so stressed out that you are self-destructive, when you are tempted to isolate. Any of these moments is where having the support network, your circle of strength, is so important. And so number 2, who is that person that you can trust and answer? If number 2 doesn't answer, who's the third person on your list? If number 3 doesn't answer, you see where I'm going here? What is the fourth person you could put on your list? And keep going all the way down until you run out of people. Like, I don't have any more people I can put down on there. Well, guess what? There are Facebook groups. There's meetup.com where you can find supports. I know at NA and AA, they pass around a list of phone numbers. And if you've extinguished all that, you still cannot get a hold of anybody, you can get on free hotlines, help hotlines you can find online where you are guaranteed to have somebody answer the phone. So there is zero excuses that you cannot reach out. I just couldn't reach out because nobody would answer. Did you try to call a hotline, a free hotline that's set up for times like this? No, then you didn't try hard enough. You have to try hard in recovery if you want to shed that lifestyle, because there are moments in life that it's going to be extremely difficult. Just like day 4 of this challenge was extremely difficult. Every part of our bodies are sore from head to toe, from our calves to our thighs to our backs, chest, because we're doing 2 workouts a day, mind you. To wake up at 5 o'clock every single morning and to know it's only day 4. But the cool thing is I've been through this and I know that what's coming in the next week is the soreness goes away. And the soreness never comes back as hard as it is. And the rewards only get better and better. So you have to have that huge support system. Marilyn! Yay! The purple M&M. The purple M&M. Marilyn, good to see you. Glad you're here. Good morning and welcome. Miss ya. Miss your comments in the sections right there. So cool. We're talking about stress today. We're talking about coping mechanisms. We're talking about how do you deal with stress? We're trying to build, for the last 30 minutes, a toolbox so that when our stress hits these levels, let me show you again the thermometer, because there's healthy stress and there's unhealthy stress. Look at this over. Take a screenshot if you want. Where are you at on that thermometer today? How do you handle stress? We want to build a toolbox so that that stress does not get out of control. Stress is good for you. You just need to learn how to deal with it. We just talked about your support network, your circle of strength, and how important it is. And there's no excuses for you to reach out if you properly lay it out on paper. Choose your battle gear. Not all coping strategies are created equal, so pick the tools that work best for you. I don't know your lifestyle. I don't know what time you get up. I don't know what time you go to bed. And I don't know about anything that happens in between, what schedules or commitments you've made. I know what works for me. So when I get up here and I talk about the 4 years I've had in sobriety and the 4 years that I've had in growth as a man and success that I've had in businesses, I chose the tools that work for me. And I have no idea why the fireworks just went off. What are some healthy and unhealthy coping mechanisms? Obviously, reaching for booze is unhealthy. Choose the healthy ones. There are breathing techniques that I like. There are breathing techniques that I don't like. There are ways to work out that I like. There are ways to work out that I don't like. I'm not a very good journaler. I talked about this yesterday. I don't write in a journal daily and do a good job at it. But when I do write in a journal, I write well, but I just don't do it as often as I could, which is every day, because I'm not that good at it. And not all coping mechanisms are created equal, so that one's not that good for me. So I use it once in a while. I use it at least twice a week, minimum once a week. Every Sunday for sure I do write in it, but I don't use it as often as some other people do. Some other people can fill up journal after journal, and I wish I could be like that, but I can't. So what are some of the good strategies that work for you? Back to now, that's a good one. You start getting stressed out, your mind starts racing with crazy thoughts, you scream out loud, back to now. Look around. Where am I? Observe things in the room. Listen for sounds around you, and bring yourself back to the present moment and quit tripping on the future, because all that's doing is giving you bad blood pressure, bad heart diseases. Stress is completely bad for you. Another thing is you must master your time. You must master your day. This says, are you feeling overwhelmed? Time management can be your secret weapon. Are you feeling overwhelmed? Time management can be your secret weapon. What does your day look like? Write this down. Be self-aware of it for a minute. What time do you get out of bed? And what time do you have to be at work? How much time do you give yourself in between that little window? Is it out of bed, grabbing wrinkly clothes off the ground because you didn't do the laundry and everything's a mess? You rush in there, you brush your teeth for 20 seconds because you're in a hurry. You grab a cup of coffee. Bzz, traffic's driving you crazy. You get to work exactly on time or maybe 3 minutes late every single day. That is not a good way to do it. And then on top of that, when you get to work late, or maybe you just don't, and you just don't you don't hustle, you don't haul ass to work. Maybe you get there 10, 15 minutes late every day. Just the stress feeling of being the guy that's late all the time and knowing that your coworkers and your boss are irritated by it brings stress. Time management. Make yourself get out of bed. Give yourself what's worked for me over the last year and a half that I really took control of my time was making myself get out of bed at least an hour and a half earlier than any commitment that I've made. So I get up, I have clients in Salt Lake that I'll go and film for. Sometimes I have to be there at 7 or 8 o'clock, right? Which means I have to leave the house an hour early because it's an hour drive south. And I'll make sure that I get up an hour early so that I can go sit, drink coffee, relaxed in my green stress level, right? In the green area here, free flowing and no effort, good functional stress. I can chill in that moment, meditate and pray. I'm not rushed. I'm not behind. And then that usually gives me a little time to leave early, and I can handle situations in traffic. Say there's a traffic jam or an accident. I can get through that accident, and I can always arrive early to my commitments. And being the guy that arrives early gets a pat on the back. Always dependable. And when you start to become known as the one that is always dependable, that is a stress reliever in itself. And you get there, you're the one that's dependable, you're ahead of schedule, you've already set your tone for the day because you've been up and awake, you're actually fully alert by the time you get to your commitment, and you just zip through that day. And then you learn how to handle the stress in the moment of being engaged in work, right? We talked about all the stuff that happens at work, the dynamics, the deadlines, the job insecurity, you know. It helps with you understanding and dealing with debt and bills. Take control of your time. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. So master your stress, time management, okay? How does your day run? Think about it. Take control of your day. If you take control of your day, you will definitely help overcome stress. Unlock the power of the present moment to combat stress. We talked about that just a minute ago. We say back to now. We look around, we breathe, we hear, we stay in the moment. You know that it's said if you have one foot in the past and one foot in the future, that you're crapping all over today. Back to the moment. One thing that I've learned to do, I think probably the last 6 months or so, I have to put everything on a calendar now, or I will double book. I will screw up my schedule. I can't just play it off the top of my head anymore like I used to. So I literally have to put it on the schedule. And now I know that in 3-4 days, I have this to do. In a week, I know that on my schedule, it says this is a commitment I've made, and that's what I have to do. To sit and look at those 2 commitments that I have 3 days from now, 7 days from now, and just to think about, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to handle? I don't even think about it anymore. I've taught myself to think about today only. That doesn't mean I don't make plans and then I see the things that I need to do and I don't think, okay, this will work good for me 3 days from now. I'm going to put it on my schedule and then, and I kind of get prepared for it that way. But I don't think about it any more than that. I know that like our groups, we do activities with our groups. We go paintballing, we do other kinds of stuff. And I don't put much more thought into it until that day. Okay, the day has come that this activity is going to take place. Today, I will focus on what time are we going to need to be there? How are we going to get there? What is the stuff that we need? And how do I need to load the truck? I'll spend my time that day on that. That day already has enough stress for itself. So today, what do I do? What did I do? I woke up at 5. I read my Bible and I prayed. I went in there and I did my spin, and now I'm here live with you. I'm only thinking about today as today comes. I know what I have to do the rest of the day. I have a physical therapy appointment. I got to come home and I got to get a little bit work done. I got to meet with some other possible new client. And I'm going to worry about that stuff today. Tomorrow is Saturday. I know this is the stuff that I kind of already have like pre-planned. I need to clean the house. I need to clean out my truck. We got to do chores. A lot of different types of chores that need to be done around the house tomorrow. But guess what? I'm not going to go around the house and get mad and upset today about it, because that's what's going to be handled tomorrow. So try to stay in the day. Peaceful mindfulness. Stay in the now. And when you start getting out of the now, scream to yourself, back to now. Self-care. It's so freaking important. Investing in yourself is the best investment for managing stress. One of the best things that I have ever heard in my entire life is the best gift you can give me, the best gift I can give you, the best gift I can give my son's island, the best gift I can give my wife and my kids and my church family and my community, and the best gift you can give your significant others, your family, your mothers and fathers and brothers, whoever, and your community around you. What is that best gift that you can give? I'm going to tell you. It's self-improvement. Self-development is the best gift you can give me. If I want to be my best friend's best friend, the best thing I can give him is my best version of myself, which is going to be self-discipline. Let me go through these comments real quick. I just seen a bunch of people join. Marilyn, he says, my wife and our Team Trucking says, my wife and we're both in recovery and truck drivers. Cool. We keep with the basics, go to meetings, network with other people in recovery, listen to online content like your channel. Oh, very cool, dude. See, constantly, it's what you put in your ears and what you put in your eyes. Hey, Gage, no worries. Yep, keep your eyes on the road, brother. It's all good. We got to catch up soon. Then we got Team Trucking again, says, but our members' one focus is living in the steps 10, 11, and 12. Heck yeah. Taking personal inventory when you're wrong, promptly admitting it. Taking that higher power, his will for us, the power to carry that out, right? And then giving back. I love it. I'm a huge fan of the 12 steps. Self-respect, savage, brutal honesty. Self-respect, savage, brutal honesty. I like that. Congratulations. Stick with it. I got 23 years. Whoa, without a hangover. Ooh, good way to describe it. I got 23 years without a hangover. Booze, cocaine, 6 years in March off all prescribed. Oh, good. Respect from Boston. Respect from Utah. Love it. Kick it. Love it. Nothing against AA or NA. Yeah, word. Everybody's recovery path is freaking... It's all good. No, you got to do you. And that's why hearing and listening and figuring it out, right? Staying plugged in. Go try AA. Go try NA. Go try mindfulness. Go try working out. Go try Whatever freaking recovery roads there are out there, go try them. And when you find what works for you, kick its ass. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, exactly. Team trucking. There are other ways people find sobriety. AA and NA is part of the list. Absolutely. 100%. Staying sober. Staying in today helps me. Oh, yeah, dude, I got to stay in today. Or Christ-centered cooking. Hey, what's up, dude? Very cool. A little cooking channel going on right there on YouTube. Love it. 1 second at a time. Yeah, why worry about anything else? Today has enough stress of its own. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Whatever it takes without selling your soul. Yeah, don't do that. Don't sell your soul. You don't want to go to hell for 70 years of mediocre pleasure. Mediocre pleasure this world has nothing to offer, I swear. The things of the world will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. I love that song. Like to have you on my podcast. Keep the good word going. Dude, hit me up. Shoot me a message. If you jump over to the Facebook side, DM me, whatever. I got a podcast too, and likewise, dude, I'll come on yours, you come on mine, whatever you want to do. I'm totally down. Shoot me a DM. Hit me up. So investing in yourself is the best way to manage stress. And like I said before, the best gift you can give me is self-development. What can you do to be the best version of yourself? And if you are a Christian man walking with God and you are not diving into the Bible, guess what? You are not becoming the best Christian version of yourself possible, because you are denying what the Bible says. The faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. And that's diving in to God's word, to be filled with the Spirit, to put off sin. And when you become that man, you are giving me the best gift that you could possibly give me. And I likewise will be seeking that lifestyle so that I can be the best gift to you possible, because then together, man, do we make a strong team. Seek that out. And then if you need professional help, obviously there's a ton of types of professional help. And just like we said in the comments, man, it's your path to recovery. You do you. Seek whatever therapy you think you need. Check it out. If it doesn't work, look at something else. Works for me is hitting the gym with a bunch of friends and then sitting in a circle and talking about it. That is my favorite. I get fit. I get strong. We talk good stuff. I eat clean. I drink tons of water. And then build that toolbox, right? All the stuff we talked about today is building your toolbox. Being aware of your stress levels and the context, because you've written it down. Why was I stressed? When was I stressed? What was going on when I was stressed? How did I think about my stress? And what was my behavior and attitude? And how did I act out according to it? Then we looked at bringing yourself off that, because you could actually increase your stress by thinking stressful thoughts up that little thermometer that I just showed you, right? If you think stressful thoughts, you can jack up your stress up this thermometer. And then if you start thinking peaceful thoughts, thinking back to now, taking some deep breathing techniques, you can bring your stress back down. You are in control of your stress. When you are stressed out, when you have a bad thought that makes your adrenaline pop off and those hormones drop in your mind that makes you that make those emotions feel so strong and true, you don't have to respond to those anymore. You can just feel it, go, whoa, oh, why am I feeling this way? And wait. You can't control that first thought, but you can control the second and beyond. Start battling it with positive thoughts, thinking, prayer, meditation, reading, and give the time, because once those endorphins kick in, once that liquid, literal, physical science hormones drop in your body, you give it 5 to 10 minutes, they will dissipate, they will go away. And so you don't have to act out. You don't have to feed them. Building the toolbox to get rid of stress. We learned how to deep breathe today. And we learned that the best gift you can give me and the best gift I can give you is personal self-development. You take care of yourself first. And this isn't this has nothing to do with like, that guy's selfish. All he cares about is himself. No, you're taking care of yourself, because if you are the best version of yourself, I now can love my wife, because I have been in the Word and I know what it means to be gracious, to be forgiving, and to be sacrificially loving. And I've learned that, and not only have I learned that, but now I am practicing it. That is self-development. Now I can love my wife, and now my prayers won't be hindered. I've learned how to be there for my buddy when the phone rings. I've learned how to, hey, you need help? I'm there. Because I've practiced this stoic, manly stoicism to put friends first over me. That was a part of my self-development that I've learned, and now I practice and put towards my friends and family and community. Take care of yourself and give back, y'all, okay? I will be live tomorrow at 7 o'clock. What you see going on here is I am on day 4 of a 75-day challenge. I'm going live every single morning at 7 a.m. We're going to talk about recovery. Tomorrow, I don't know what we're talking about, but I'll post it in here in a little while. I'm doing 2 workouts a day. I get up, I do 30, 45 minutes of cardio. Then I go on throughout my day after this live stream, and then I'll hit another workout in the evening. I'm trying to get in shape, and I'm trying to overcome a shoulder injury. I may have to have surgery soon, so you're going to see me go through that, and you're going to see how I handle and cope with that, okay? And that could happen here in the next month or so, but I got 75 days of this live stream, so you won't miss it. So thanks for watching, y'all. Tomorrow, please join us at 7. Please share this out. Please like. The best way to support this, our nonprofit here in Ogden is free for our clients. This channel is free for I just want to offer support, help, and love to everybody out there that needs it. So the best way to support us is to literally engage with our channel. And thank you so much for all the comments. I enjoyed every single one of them. Thank you for engaging with me, hitting the like button, the heart button, and the share button. And let people know that we're out here and we're a resource to help them. And if you know anybody that's struggling, shoot me a DM, tell them, and get in connection with me. That's what I do. That's why I am here. I do a lot of body hangs for your shoulder. That's what I heard. You're the second person that's told me that. Like hang. I got an MRI. Ugh, see, I can't even lift it. I got an MRI, and it says I got a torn rotator cuff and a dislocated bicep tendon. So it sucks. I got physical therapy today. We're doing prehab. Team Trucking, thanks for being here. Keep trucking. Breaker 19, keep trucking. Over out. All right, y'all. Until next time, do not put yourself. Oh, let's actually say the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Until next time, y'all, do not put yourself in a high-risk situation. Stay strong, work your programs, and remember, we recover better together.